Ariza, and also the guy Ryan Anderson too. He
started the season with that.
But one thing about Ryan Anderson, you have to guard him. Man. Spread the floor.
Oh, you only got to guard him if he's hitting shots.
Well, but you can't. How you gonna know that if you're not guarding, fool?
How about if you miss a couple shots? I ain't going out there.
How about Utah?
Like when I played you.
70 points in the paint in this one as they win 118-91.
Punished.
So we heard Reggie Miller talking during the telecast, and he said, "Look, this may not be a playoff team, the Houston Rockets.
No doubt.
Unless they do something." But again, it's relatively early, a quarter of the way into the season. Rockets are 11-13.
It's not early, Ernie.
But the number 8 and 9 teams tied for the last playoff spot are both 12 and 11. So it's not like they've fallen behind by 8 games now.
But
they're still right there behind Sacramento and Dallas.
Yeah, but that's not the problem.
I know there's definitely a problem.
No, but that's not the problem. You just look at the records. They're not better than those teams. That when you talk about who we chasing, like they're not a good team right now, but they're not much better. When they play those teams, those are toss-up games, and they're probably losses on the road. That's the problem they got.
Based off their success from based off their success from last year, the expectations were still going to be high for this team. It seems to me they're not playing with much effort. We know they're not known for defense, but they're not playing any defense at all. And they're the type that when they're not hitting shots, they just said, you know what, we're just going to, run through the motions.
Yeah, I would say when you're chasing Minnesota, New Orleans, Utah, and then you have San Antonio on your heels, I would agree with Chuck that
they're not better than those teams. They're not
right now. They're not playing.
And let me say this about that. I'm sorry to interrupt you, kid. That trade was great for both teams. That Minnesota trade, it was great for the Sixers and it was great for Minnesota. There's not often trades work out good for both teams. The Sixers had to do something, and Covington and Sarek are good players,
without question. And so what you say is, well, what's missing from your team, and why aren't you winning? If you're the Rockets or anyone who's doing that, and you go, well, do we have that in our locker room to change it? And you go, no, because what the Rockets are mentioning, again, you just said how many points in the paint?
Oh, it was 70-42 tonight.
70-42 in the paint. And those are a lot of driving baskets, which Trevor Ariza, Abute would cover. Those guys cover the perimeter, and they can cover the three-point line. So then you put that with P.J. Tucker, you add that in, and all of a sudden you were a tough defensive team with 2 offensive players and that were pretty darn tough to handle in Chris Paul and James Harden. Now, you're not that. And then when you throw Eric Gordon in and you could just kind of move him out and move it and take Chris Paul or Harden in, you don't have that luxury anymore because you're not tough enough on the perimeter to defend the 3 anymore.
And also,
you're like the Rockets were 2-3 years ago.
And you factor in what guys like Ariza, Ryan Anderson, Luke Moabute, I think that's how you pronounce his name.
Moabute.
Ernie, the floor is shrinking on those guys. So they can cheat off those other guys. But also, Eric Gordon was in the conversation for the best 6th man. Now he's basically a starter. So you weaken your bench. And that's one of the things, we talk about their bench is awful.
Yeah, dead last in bench points, and they were last year 7th in defensive rating, 25th this year.
Because they got rid of Lou Williams, and they had both Lou Williams and Eric Gordon.
Are they going to make the playoffs, Chuck?
I think Daryl Morey is too. I think they're going to make a trade.
They're going to make the playoffs, yes or no?
Well, they're going to make right now. No, they're not going to make the playoffs the way they construct right now. But Daryl Morey is too good of a GM. He's going to do something. If I'm Daryl Morey, and I'm saying, okay, I got Chris and I got James and Capella.
Melo's available.
And
that's what we were saying. Is it his fault? Now we see
it's not.
No. It wasn't.
But listen, I'm gonna protect 3 players, and I got to make a trade because we can't win the way we're constructed.
Team that lost 17 games last year, best record in the NBA, has now lost 13. They are 11-13 as Utah goes to 13-13. All right.